are the New York Knicks. I'm back, rocking in New York. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, just like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Go New York, go New York, go!
Everybody, welcome to the New York Knicks podcast, episode 558, part of Dash Radio. You know what? I'm going to do the read right now. I did not know that sports betting was coming so quick. We had this like distant future time, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's here.
It's like the advertisement was here for a purpose. Go on.
Yeah, it's like they knew something we didn't. So DraftKings Sportsbook is here. It won't be, I have to change all the words in this now. You can bet on all your favorite sports right here in the Empire State on top of DraftKings Sportsbook app. You know DraftKings for the daily fantasy contests, and now they brought their expertise to sports betting so that sports fans everywhere can get into the action. DraftKings Sportsbook offers everything you would ever want from a sports betting app, from player props to same game parlays. They have it all. You can now bet on your favorite sports from the comfort of your home with one of America's top-rated sportsbooks app, DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings is safe, secure, reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. So check out DraftKings and tell them I sent you by using promo code NYKP. That's promo code NYKP. DraftKings Sportsbook. It's here in New York State. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full details. Must be 21 plus and physically present in New York. Gambling problems 1-877-HOPE-NY. All right, Mark.
Yeah, it can make any night of basketball extra fun, and you can bet on not just the outcome of the game. You can bet on how many points the teams are going to score, how many threes someone's going to hit. There's so many different bets you can make. It can get really fun. So check it out. It's worth checking out.
Yeah, our friend stacks his
Jay?
parlays, and he tries to do like 6 or 7, and then if all of them happen, you could bet $1 and win like $600. So it's kind of fun.
So I saw something where someone bet some parlays, whatever, on last night's college football championship, where they put down $30,000 and somehow won $1.2 million.
Wow.
Yeah. So if any of our listeners do that, and you win $1.2 million, throw some money towards our Patreon.
Patreon.com/NYKnicks podcast. All right, we got all the plugs out of the way, right?
All the plugs in. More importantly, Jay, if would you take Ben Simmons in the trade if you had to also take Tobias Harris?
I don't mind.
Tobias Harris signed a contract, a 5-year, $180 million contract in 2019. So I guess he probably has like 3 years to go.
Yeah, I don't mind Tobias Harris. I don't get everyone's like, oh, without Simmons, it's just Embiid. I think Harris is a good player. I don't.
What would you give up for that? Are you still willing to make that trade? Are you still willing to trade for him? So last night, Julius Randle had 2 points.
Yeah.
Are you willing to give up 2 points to get, would you include him to get Ben Simmons?
He did have 11 rebounds and a few assists. So it's not like he was a total.
Knicks won. So it was actually a blowout, but the Knicks crushed the Spurs. But would you, just ask you, would you make the trade? Would you give up, let's say it's Julius Randle, Knicks have to throw in a pick or two, and a couple other assets. Would you do this?
I probably would.
Okay.
I'm not on the Randall needs to go train like some people, but I also don't think this is a championship contender right now. So,
I would agree with you.
Maybe that makes the Knicks better. I'm still also not of the opinion that we have our point guard of the future on this roster. I know Knicks Twitter did a complete. Everyone's posting how IQ is a point guard. I think IQ is a in-between guard, shooting guard, who can pass, but he doesn't really set up the offense like a point guard does. Just because you can pass to other players doesn't make you a point guard.
I would take so I don't think IQ is our point guard of the future, But I would say I feel like he's getting a little better at playmaking. He's better than he was last season, even probably better than he was at the beginning of the season. He has really focused on improving that part of his game. And right now, as far as healthy point guards, he's probably our best point guard. Whereas Alec Burks is just not a point guard. I like Alec Burks. He's not a point guard. He's not being used properly in that role. And the only other guy is Deuce McBride, who I like. Deuce's shot doesn't look amazing right now. His defense looks really good. His offensive game needs work. He's a rookie. I think IQ currently, despite not being our future as far as point guard, is the best point guard best healthy point guard in the roster.
You think IQ is a better point guard than McBride?
Well, yes. I think McBride's offensive game needs work, and he probably needs more time in the G League. He probably needs the rest of the season and at least this summer to I'd like to see Deuce get more playing time also. IQ's game is just ahead of Deuce's game right now.
Yeah.
Deuce when he had that good game against Houston, but since then, and his minutes have been more limited, but anytime I've seen him out there, he hasn't looked he's looked below average as far as on offense. His defense has looked really good. He just needs I don't think you can expect so much out of him just yet. He'll develop. I like Deuce. I want to see him develop. But anyway, IQ's just looked. You don't think IQ has looked better lately at the point?
I think he's looked better. This is a very non-Twitter take, but I think he looks pretty good. I don't think he is like a starting point guard caliber, but I don't want him off the team.
So
I'm kind of in the middle.
Jay. So I don't think you understand how it works in Knicks world. At least, if you're on least Knicks Twitter, either someone is the worst player that's ever been on Earth, or they're the greatest player to ever play the game. There's no in between in Knicks world. Just pick a side and stick to that side, Jay.
You can't do any criticism, or you think he's terrible and want him traded.
Either you're a stan, or that guy's like the just horrendous and should never be allowed. He's based either he's the greatest ever, or he's the Hindenburg.
Yeah.
Anyway, I would, if the Knicks could keep RJ Barrett, they could keep IQ and maybe Obi, just like one or two, a couple pieces, throw in a bunch of draft picks. I would take the Randle, bunch of draft picks, and whatever else, get Simmons, Tobias, team up with RJ, team up with IQ. I feel that would be an interesting roster to build around, and a more dynamic roster than we have now. As much as I'm not trashing Randle, as you said, we have to figure out how to move forward. Right now, the Hawks are talking to the Sixers, and apparently talks have broke down a little bit over the Sixers wanting to include Tobias Harris. The Sixers have the mindset that if they get rid of Tobias Harris and Simmons' contract, then maybe they can get Harden as a free agent in the future. I don't know if I want to get Harden based on how he's played overall. I don't think Harden's game is going to age well going forward, so I don't know if I'd want to do this if I was the Sixers, but that's the plan, supposedly.
I hope they do that. I don't know why you would want Harden making $50 million at like 35 years old, but
I don't know. But anyway, as far as I don't care what the Sixers do as far as that regard, but I think I don't know. Supposedly Knicks haven't really even talked to the Sixers about this, but it would be an interesting, if you wanted to try to improve this roster, it would be an interesting way to go. I would like the Knicks to keep their draft picks. I'd like them to keep kind of just go back to like just rebuild mode and just kind of not like basically the path they're on, just assume last year was a bit of an overachievement and just kind of keep this roster and just slowly build around it. But I would also be thrilled to see that I would be very interested to see this kind of trade also and just see how it works out. Because Simmons, despite his lack of shooting, is an all-star level player.
Yeah, I was just looking at Harden's contract. He has a player option next year for $47 million.
Wonder if he's going to say yes.
I don't know. He might say no and go for a long contract, in which case he's due for like $50 million a year.
Yeah. So this has been a very interesting week in Knicks world. Why don't we? So the Knicks have played 4 games since last show. They beat the Pacers.
It happened exactly as I predicted.
Is this exactly what you predicted, Jay?
This is exactly what I predicted.
You predicted 3-1. The Knicks have gone through it. So the Knicks are like 1 game under 500. They have a rough schedule coming up.
I predicted 3-1 and losing the second game against the Celtics.
I mean, if you're gonna pick one loss, that would be that would be the one to pick. But Knicks have looked pretty interesting. I mean, the Knicks they're not good, but not as bad. I thought they were gonna collapse like maybe two weeks ago, but they've kind of hung around. So
there was two minor things that happened that, because it's the Knicks, are huge controversies now.
okay,
And I want to get your opinion on them. We had the Randle thumbs down.
a thumbs down to you,
Which,
Jay.
as a Mets fan, you're used to the players giving you thumbs down.
The Mets, Javi Baez, who's no longer a Met, basically put his thumbs down to boo the Met fans because Met fans had been booing the Mets for playing like trash this past season.
Mm-hmm.
Randall doing that made me flat out angry. I have to say, you have to realize where you are. You are playing a quote unquote kids game. You're playing this. You're not playing basketball because this is something. Because like if we win this basketball game, there'll be peace in the Middle East. There's not. All you're doing is entertainment. You're nothing without fans being interested in this. This is part of the fans. The reason you get paid so much money is because fans are really passionate about this, which comes with positive. When you're playing well, fans will lose their minds cheering for you, and when you're bad, they'll boo you. This is what you signed up for. I don't like when people are like, if you're booing a college team, guys aren't getting paid, or a high school team, you're booing anyone not getting paid. Don't boo them. Don't give them so much shit. They're not getting paid. But this is professional. You should be able to basically just like wipe just let it go off your shoulder, let it go off your back, whatever the expression is. I feel like it's absurd to boo the fans. And Randall, he hasn't been that good this season. It's not like he's been playing like an MVP all season and the Knicks are the fans are suddenly giving him crap. He was really great last season. He has not been very good this season. He should understand. I mean, I can understand as any human being would be like, this sucks, they're booing me. I'm really pissed off they're booing at me. But take the lumps. Just try to tune them out, the fans out when they're booing you. And when they cheer you, just take it in. Do not boo the fans. I think that's just like, it's just a perverse, like, not understanding of where you are in life, basically, and that this is entertainment. I do not like booing the fan. If you can't tell, I passionately believe that it's just you're being a jackass booing the fans.
Okay. I mean, I'm not as down on him for that, just only because people were cheering when he got COVID. So, like, had that not happened, I bet he was in extra FU mode because of that. So
I hadn't thought about that when I first reacted, and you're right. People were kind of dicks about it, and so so first of all, he apologized for it, and so I moved on. I'm not mad at him for it. It is what it is. He said it was in the moment, and he shouldn't have done that. Fine, I'm good. I don't need him to apologize more. I'm happy to cheer for him. And I think you're right. Like the fans, like cheering him getting COVID is kind of a dick thing to do. It's one thing to boo his performance on the field, on the court. It's another thing to like cheer for him having like health issues. So I agree with you that like that excuses the behavior also completely.
Zapatego says it seems like a lot of fans outside New York are calling New York fans spoiled. Spoiled from what?
I mean, yeah, spoiled for what? Like what? Like, oh, you know why? Because we're getting such a good, the Jets and the Giants and the Mets, the Yankees, and all these teams we're rooting for. So much good stuff's going our way in New York.
You know why we're spoiled? We had a 54-win team 9 years ago.
We had a 41-win team last year, so like we understand. Like last year, we already had our parade. I mean, it's amazing how loyal. I mean, a couple of years ago when the Knicks won 17 games, and on like the 17th win, the Garden was going crazy, and you're like, "This is an awesome fan base." Another fan base would just not be here.
Yeah. Try and go to like a Hawks game when they're a sub 500 team. You could get like front row seats for $20 the day.
I remember when I lived in Atlanta for a little bit, and I remember going to a Braves playoff game where you could just buy the tickets at like just show up and buy tickets because they didn't sell out for playoff games. So New York is a tough place to play. You have extra media scrutiny. Fans are just insane. And if you go online, you read Twitter or anything else, the fans are just out of their fucking minds. But I feel like as a player also, you can't be doing that. You can't be going there reading what everyone's saying about you. Just leave it. Let the fans be passionate and try to find ways to block it out. But it's entertainment. That's why you're getting paid a ridiculous amount of money.
Anthony said we're spoiled because we had a point guard once called Jeremy Lin.
Yes.
What
13 games
what
of point
6
guard.
weeks that was.
So it's been a very interesting week, though. So we had that. What was the other thing you wanted to get my comments on?
Knicks up by 17. Obi does kind of like a reverse dunk in garbage time at the end of the game. Tibbs
Against
actually... Was it?
The Spurs game?
Yeah, Tibbs actually apologized to Pop for that.
Yeah. So I would say, yeah, I agree with Tibbs apologizing to Pop for that. And I think Obi is just excited to get dunks. I do not think Obi was rubbing it in. I think he's just excited to get playing time. He just wants to be out there.
I'm pro rubbing it in.
Are you?
Yeah. I think trash talking and rubbing it in should be a more prominent part of the game. Get better if you don't want to lose. I just,
create real rivalries where like next time
let's
you
get
play
some
them,
hard
like,
feelings in. Let's get these games a little chippy again. I love it. Like just
fair enough.
Play
Fair
better.
enough.
The funny thing is that LeBron was flexing and doing a bow and arrow shit against the Kings and talking all this trash. And then they're getting stomped by Memphis and they're talking trash. And he complains to the refs that they're being mean to him. And it's like, dude, you were doing the same thing like 48 hours ago.
I don't want to go on a LeBron rant, but it's amazing for like arguably top 2 at least the greatest players of all time. And he's such a bitch. Amazing player, but holy shit, an amazing bitch also.
Yeah. Very unlikable.
Yeah.
I don't think the dunk was that.
I feel like the thing of like stop shooting threes or stop like when you're up by a lot. I still think you should always keep the lead. Especially with how fast teams can come back. I agree. To a certain extent, Obi should have been doing that, but I don't think Obi was doing that to rub it in anyway. I don't think Obi was trying to rub it in like you want him to do. I think he gets excited.
Well, yeah, like there was the whole Damari Carroll, Elfrid Payton thing. Remember where Payton like threw him to the ground because he was. The way I see it is like cover the guy, like they weren't even covering him, and so if you're gonna leave me that wide open, I'm gonna shoot a shot. Like at least I know the game was out of control, but like at least stand in front of the guy.
Right, just play better. Basically, that comes down to play better. Like let them whatever. So, but this was like a very interesting. The Pacer game. And not to go over too much, but this was the game. The Pacer game was the game where Barrett and Randle both played pretty awesome
for the first time this season, right?
Yeah, I think it might have been the first time this season Barrett and Randle looked good in the same game. So I was pretty happy. And so it's an amazing thing about that game is the Pacers have the best shot blocker in the NBA in Turner, right?
Yeah.
Like just like at least the fact he gets the most blocks year in and year out. And RJ took him apart. RJ was just getting to the basket. It was as if they had no shot blocker in the game. It was kind of awesome. Great game. Then the Knicks followed up with the Celtic game. And I don't know how, but like the Knicks have played some just epically fun games against the Celtics this year. The first game of the season might have been my favorite game of the whole year. And this game was the game where Fournier had 0 points against the Pacers. After the game, Nick's Twitter was just like, why is he even in the league? Then he goes off against the Celtics and cannot. It looked like he was goddamn Steph Curry out there. Just an ounce of daylight, and he'd hit a 3. 41 points. How do you go from 0 points to your career high the next game?
That's the thing. You never know who's going to show up on a day-to-day basis for the Knicks. I honestly thought the Pacers game was a turning point when Barrett and Randle both played well. I'm like, okay, they figured it out. We got our 2 best players playing well, and then like nothing. But then Fournier goes off. So it's like you don't know.
yeah, Barrett wasn't that good at the Celtic game. Randle was okay. He had a decent game, but like
They were both just
he wasn't
okay. Yeah.
they were both Barrett actually was probably below okay. He wasn't even that good in that game.
Yeah.
So Fournier made some comment along the lines of our offense basically is just feed the guy who's hot from night to night. And that's kind of, they don't seem to have a set plan as much as, like, I think he's right. It's just really like whoever gets hot, give him the ball and see how it goes, which is not an off. I feel like the Knicks, Tibbs needs for next season to get an offensive coordinator. He just needs to get someone in there who can really, like, Tibbs is great on defense. He's a good coach. I like him, but it might help to have someone, another offensive mind there.
Also, if a guy doesn't have it that night, feel free. Like the Knicks have a good bench. Feel free to play. Like Randle's 1 for 7. Don't put him back in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. Like,
You could give Obi hasn't looked amazing lately, but you can give him some more minutes.
Right.
And not to say like he has to take away like Randle doesn't need to play 38 minutes. Randle could play 32 minutes and give 16 minutes to Obi. It might balance things out a little better and also give Randle a little more energy. Just throwing that out there. But anyway, Fournier looked amazing. And by the way, I don't know why I even said Barrett didn't play that well. Barrett didn't play that well until the last shot of the game where he hits the game winner, which was unbelievable.
yeah.
I'm watching that game and I'm just really, I watched it on DVR. So I watched it after my kids are in the bed and it was just I put it on kind of late. I was really, really tired. And I was just, but that was also the game the Knicks were, to recall, the Knicks were down by a lot throughout the first half. It looked like they were just getting stomped. And I was like, well, this game sucks. And then I think I was falling asleep on the couch. It was the middle third quarter. I almost just got up and turned it off and went to bed. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, they're going to, cool. The Knicks are going to try to pull up a fake comeback.
Mm-hmm.
And then the game's like a little closer at the end of the third quarter. I'm like, well, they're still down by a lot. Whatever. They're I'm so used to the fake comeback.
Mm-hmm.
Then suddenly I'm like, holy shit, this is a game.
They're actually going to do it.
Holy shit, the Knicks is the lead. Oh my God, the Knicks. Wait, and then I'm like, don't go to overtime. I can't take it. Please don't go. I'd rather a loss. I just can't stay awake. And then they get to I'm like, God damn it, it's a tie game. And well, this will be on overtime. Then when RJ hit that shot, I almost screamed, except for the fact that my kids would wake up and that would be the worst thing ever. So but I was just like, holy crap! I could not. I was in shock when he hit that shot.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was, especially considering what kind of game he was having before that.
Yeah, he wasn't very good that whole game, and he took it was also not even the shot you want him taking. It was not like it was just
It was a high degree of difficulty shot.
It was a high degree of difficulty shot.
And he got fouled.
Yeah, he got fouled. Yeah, it was one of those threes. I guess that's, you're going for the last second shot. This is the shot you get, whatever. But it was just wow, that's the shot he got, and he fucking made it.
Yeah,
and he called glass. I'm just pretending he called glass. But that was awesome. It was just a weird week. And then you go to the next game where the Celtics just trounced the Knicks. The Knicks look goddamn lifeless. Randle sucks. Barrett sucks. Everyone sucks. And you're like, you just won 2 games, and suddenly you're at a low point being like, well, this team's goddamn garbage. I think Quickly had a good game, but no one else had a good game. And you were like, great. And then the Knicks are stomped to the Spurs, and you feel better about yourself again. And RJ went crazy. RJ had a great game, especially his third quarter. Was awesome in the third quarter last night. And you start feeling better about the team again. I'm very bipolar with this team as a fan.
I just find it funny that everyone wanted Fournier off the team after the Pacers game, and then he ties the Knicks all-time franchise record for threes in a game.
Right. Yes. And then the next game, the worst news is that he's not going to be playing against the second Celtics game. You're like, oh my God, we're not going to have Fournier? Is this the guy you wanted off the team 2 games ago? Yeah, but now I need him every night now.
It's almost at the point where every time a Knicks player has a good game, I expect him to just miss the next game.
What is the deal with Fournier? I mean, I understand that he was a Celtic last year, but oh my God, he comes to play against the Celtics. No other team does he come to play. I saw something about his numbers are something like 30 something points a game against the Celtics, so amazing numbers, and against the rest of the league, it's 11 points a game.
I know, it's crazy. I guess he knows their plays or something.
Yeah, he comes to play. So I was actually one guy I wanted to mention to you, and Mitch had a good game last night. He was pretty solid. Got 11 rebounds, got some points. I think I'm ready for the Knicks to move on from Mitch.
You
I
done?
feel like a lot of times he does not give the effort I want on defense. I don't think he's always, but he should be getting more rebounds. I feel like he got like 4 blocks last night, but I feel like for the most part, I've been watching a lot of him lately. He's just slow on defense. He's a second slow on every shot. He's not the defensive presence he was. I think last year he got injured. The Knicks played so much better after he got injured. And I don't think that's complete coincidence in the sense of like, I think a healthy Nerlens Noel is a lot better than what Mitch gives you. Mitch has a ton of potential, but I don't know. He doesn't stay healthy. He has no offensive. It's 4 years in the league. He has no offensive game whatsoever. He's a good offensive rebounder. He's not a great defensive rebounder. He's added all this muscle. He's actually slower. He's going to want a lot of money. If he wants a 1-year contract or like a small, like 2-year, $10 million deal, come on back. But the money he wants, I think he can spend. I'd rather play Jericho Sims over him. I'd just trade him and move on.
Wow.
If you can get anything, if you get anything reasonable for him, and obviously I don't want to take nothing for him, but I would see what you can get for this guy. If you can even get a high second-round pick, a low second-round pick, whatever, like pick 32nd or something like that, I do it for Mitch. Am I crazy?
No, I'm not as out on Mitch as you, but I also do not want to give him a big contract. I feel like that would be a mistake.
I think he's not worth the big contract. I think I just have not seen a lot of development with him. Maybe the Knicks also have failed developing him, but I love that he can dunk the ball. He can catch an alley-oop. He's like a skill. He's got a high ceiling, but do you really see the growth happening, Jay?
No, it's I at this point it's like he's still, other than catching lobs, he doesn't really do anything on offense.
His free throw shooting still sucks.
And
His defense, I think his defense is a bit overrated at this point.
that's what I was going to say. It seems like his defense has taken a step back, and if he's not going to be elite on defense, you can find plenty of guys that do what he does.
There was a play where he was going for a rebound, I think an offensive rebound, and Pirtle was the guy in the Spurs center, just threw him out of the way, and I was like, what the hell? Like, Mitch should be better at boxing guys out.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't box guys out as much as well as he should. He doesn't set screens as well as he should. And just a lot of times on like defense, he just like, you'll see him settle in with the wrong move. He doesn't challenge guys when he should. I don't know. I feel like he's one of these guys that's going to have potential for his whole career and just not live up to it.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat with that. And if you're talking like 15 million, 20 million a year.
Oh, well, there's no, who in their right mind would give him that kind of money? He hasn't even stayed healthy for a year. I'm thinking if even $10 million a year, though, I've already invested in Noel. I mean, is he that much better? Like Jericho Sims, work on him. Jericho Sims can throw in some dunks. Maybe he will develop a little better.
The problem
also, bigs are cheap also right now in the market.
Yeah. I feel like the Noel needs to stay on the court though. Like,
no, you're right. He hasn't been healthy either. I mean, I'm just saying you're throwing. Are you going to now assign 2 guys who can't stay healthy for center?
Right. Yeah, you can't do that. I mean, like you said, there's Sims. There's plenty of other guys that you can get that can do similar.
Yeah. Anyway, I just not to go off on him, and it's been a good week. RJ generally, I mean, he was awesome last night. He was awesome against the Pacers. He has been looking better overall lately. It's some weird stats about RJ I saw this week. So one of them, let me find the stat here.
While you look it up, we are nyknickspodcast@gmail.com, and we are nyknickspodcast on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and
okay, so there are 92 players in the NBA. This was a game or two ago. There are 92 players. I think this was this is before the Pacer game. Sorry, before the Spurs game. There are 92 players in the NBA. This is from Tommy Beer. There are 92 players in the NBA averaging more than 12 field goal attempts per game. RJ Barrett is the only one of those 92 players currently shooting below 41% from the floor, below 34% from three, below 70% from the free throw line.
So not
That doesn't
great.
sound
No.
not great, not very good at all. On the other hand, over the last 6 games, RJ's averaging 23 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 45% on the field goal percentage, and 43% from three.
The problem is he goes on these crazy streaks, and you're like, oh my God, this is a guy that we want to kind of build around. And then he'll disappear for like a month. And
Yeah.
so, like, he's got to get more consistent because you can't.
He's 21 years old.
I don't
Are
want to
we-
hear about
I-
the whole
are-
age thing. I don't want to hear that argument because players come into the NBA and they're good right away. They don't need 4 or 5 years. We only use this age thing for players that the Knicks drafted.
No, but to be fairness, it was fair. Like when you talk about like Frank's only 12 years old and he'll get like the stuff with Ntilikina, he just didn't show a lot of flashes of being good. RJ is at times like last year he shot 40% from three. Last year he had a pretty good year.
Mm-hmm.
This year he's had some small streaks of being good, but he's had a down year overall. Is he a guy that's shown enough that we should be more patient with because he's 21 years old? And do we overreact to him playing poorly?
I think it's more that he is. People want him to be John Morant when he's more like Mikal Bridges or something like that. Like he's not like this perennial all-star, but he's a serviceable NBA player. And
Would you say he's an NBA starter?
yes, but he should not be your second best player.
Fair enough. The actually we have a question from Facebook that's relevant to this. Let me find this question real quick.
By the
Okay,
way, Ja, who's also 21, thank you, Anthony, had the most ridiculous block I think I've seen in my entire life the other day.
yeah, he hit him. He going for the block. He jumped up in the air, grabbed the ball with 2 hands, and hit his head on the moon.
It was insane.
Unbelievable. Anthony writes, RJ has been playing well the last couple of games, while Randle has just had his worst game as a Knick. Do you guys think this is more of a fit problem between them? Because they never seem to be playing well at the same time. Though they did against the Pacers. But to Anthony's point, obviously Randall's having a very bad year also. Do you think there's a fit issue with the two of them where like that's almost holding
I don't know if it's
RJ
a fit
back?
or it's more just the game plan, because you can. It's a lot of ISO, which takes the other guy out of the game. Whereas I feel like
that's
if you
a fair
had more
point.
of a, maybe if we had a point guard,
Point guard?
yeah, then maybe they could both get involved at the same time.
To be fair, though, I mean, Randall and everyone else, he gets tips. I mean, RJ gets set up for open threes, like good looks from three often, and he was just missing them for a while. So,
Yeah.
like, that's not really the game plan. That's just RJ missing shots. And nothing about the game plan tells RJ, hey, there are 3 guys staying under the basket. Drive right into them.
Yeah,
I mean,
this is true. Maybe Randall just isn't a high IQ player. Maybe he's got the skill, he's got the talent, but maybe his just basketball IQ isn't amazing.
By the way, I want to say Robert Williams on the Celtics may have blocked RJ in that second game, may have blocked RJ Barrett's shot 300 times. I've never seen someone get blocked so many by the same player over and over again.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. At the same time, like he figures out in certain games how to get around guys. Like he got around in the Pacer game, he got around Turner and was able to go to the basket. Maybe the fact that, like, let's just say, like, because of Mitch, you have a center that doesn't really draw the defense. So, like, you basically at center can just camp out basically under the basket.
Mhm.
But if you had a stretch center or just a more open offense, RJ has more room to drive to the basket and
Yeah.
doesn't get blocked every time over and over again by Robert Williams.
Mhm.
And maybe you're right. If there's a point guard that can hit RJ on the fast break, if you could kind of set him up a little better, that'd be more helpful than an ISO heavy offense. But I don't know if Randall really holds him back as much as like just the offensive system they're in. Like
Yeah,
there's
I
a
think-
world where they can play well together. They did last season.
Yeah, there's been similar type players that can play together. It's just, yeah, whatever scheme they have, I don't know what they do. It seems like they don't have much of an offense or a defense. I don't know what goes on in practice, but I feel like it's not a lot of running plays or getting on the same page. It just seems like everyone's just running around.
I mean, they have something going, but like the offense, it just doesn't look great lately. And I mean, a big part of it is just it's not going to look great when your best player is having a very bad year,
Like,
and
did
then
you
your
watch
second best
Golden
player is
State?
having a bad year also.
Like Golden State, it doesn't matter who they put in. They put in Jordan Poole. They put in Gary Payton Jr. Like they fit. Like they know what they're doing. They know what their role is, and they know what to do. And I feel like that's not the case for the Knicks. And,
I went through during the second Celtics game. I just made a list of things that just annoy me.
okay.
For the Knicks offense, taking forever to get up the court. You waste 12 seconds just getting into your offensive play. Like, why are you doing this? Move the ball faster.
That's been a
too
problem
much
for the
action-
Knicks for so long.
Too much action above the arc. There's so much time spent above the arc, like setting guys up. Stop playing. Like the ball has to penetrate the arc. Like just don't spend so much time above the arc. Stop posting up at the 3-point line. Randle and no one else should be allowed to call for the ball unless they're 15 feet from the basket. Post up near the basket or don't post up at all. Set screens off the ball. Lack of off ball action is insane. Why does Obi sit in the corner? He's unbelievably useless out there. No one defenders need to stay near him. The other team hopes he gets the ball and shoots it. Figure out how to use Obi. Most of Obi's points are off of assists. Figure out a game plan. He's a weapon. Figure out how to use him. I think the same thing with Mitch. Figure out how to use them. Stop faking a three, driving, kicking out, so the other guy can fake a three, drive, and kick out. That's not an offense. And also, if you're in the paint and you're near the basket and you're open, you shoot the shot. Stop kicking it out so much.
Yeah, that was like that IQ play where he was like about to get a layup, but he dribbles all the way back out to the 3-point line and just heaves it. It was so bad.
They had a shot clock violation last night. No, sorry, it was a in the paint violation, a 3-second violation in the paint because they kept like I think IQ was in the paint instead of just shooting. Basically, he passed it out, and I think Mitch was there also. And Mitch was just like, I was waiting for the rebound. Like, stop passing the ball. Someone has to shoot. And the Knicks are just like too many guys don't want to take a shot. And Randle, like last night, he had 2 points, which was absurd. But he also had a plus 16, which was kind of shocking, like the highest plus minus on the team. But he almost refused to shoot to the point where it got a little bit crazy.
There's something going on there.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, guys, we need more assists. Guys you need to have assists that happen outside. Like Knicks, most of the Knicks assists are kicking it out to a 3-point shooter. He hits the shot. We need other types of assists also. You got to set guys up. Push the action. I said the Knicks need an offensive coordinator. The Celtics seem always open by the basket, while the Knicks always just seem completely covered. Like inside the paint, just inside the arc, the Knicks seem like they can't go anywhere. Where the Celtics look like they're just wide open by the paint. Also play guy. If the guys can't just move the ball faster, play guys for shorter duration. Don't leave a guy in for a quarter and a half. Shorter action, make them go like hustle, run while you're out there. And that way I'll keep you in for 8 minutes. We'll do more rotations.
Tibbs is a little weird where it's like the guy's hot. I'm going to play him like 45 minutes so he can barely move, or like he made one mistake. He's playing 4 minutes tonight. It's like, it's really weird.
Yeah, overall, obviously he's a great coach. He's a very good coach. He's had a lot of success in the NBA. I want him around here. Just want some changes. And the Knicks to figure some stuff out and to have a good week going forward. So coming up this week, they have who we got this coming week. We got Dallas, Atlanta. I think we have to do a Sunday show because the Knicks are playing Monday and Tuesday.
Okay.
But Dallas and Atlanta. 2-0?
I'm going to say 1-1 because the Knicks just seem dead set against going above 500 this season. I think
that
they
could-
lose to Dallas and beat Atlanta.
Okay. And then they got Charlotte and Minnesota. In just case we don't record but Sunday, record Wednesday. What do you think, Charlotte and Minnesota? Knicks should be able to go 2-2, maybe 3-1.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I would say, they could win both of those.
Also, KP is not going to play in the Dallas game because he's out, not because of COVID, but because he's a bitch.
All right. So thanks for listening, everybody. I'm feeling a little bit better. So next week, we're going to start doing our comedy show again, The Brink of Sanity. You can check that out, brinkofsanityshow.com. Our website is the NewYorkKnicksPodcast.com. 2 shirts left. Pick those up because they're going to be collector's items soon.
Jay's going to turn them into an NFT, and they're going to be part of Web3 and those kind of things. I don't understand.
Anthony's predicting
Crypto
0-4.
Jay. Sorry, what did you say?
Anthony's predicting 0-4.
Well, Anthony, stop it.
And I might start doing some gaming streams again soon too. So you can follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/crumpledbacon, and YouTube. We do our shows live on YouTube now as well, youtube.com/TITOWAJ.
By the way, Tibbs gets so much crap for like not playing the young guys. It's like I always see that everywhere. Like Tibbs does not play the young guys. Tibbs does not play the young guys. I mean, Barrett gets lots of minutes. Mitch gets lots of minutes. I don't know if Mitch is still considered a young guy. IQ gets lots of minutes. He was playing Jericho Sims earlier in this year. He's getting Quentin Grimes a lot of minutes. He may not be giving enough minutes to top him, but like he does play the young guys, right?
Yeah, no,
Am I
that's
missing
just
something?
people who want to see nothing. They want to see all the vets sit and just young guys play all game every game, and it's not realistic.
I don't think he's. Yeah, I don't understand the whole like he doesn't play the young guys. I understand like some people want to see more McBride and so forth, but I don't know. He's making some effort to play the young guys.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's overrated.
Okay.
All
That
right,
was
so
my last point.
we'll be back either Sunday, or Wednesday. Probably Sunday. We record around 9:00 Eastern time, so you could hit follow or subscribe on the sites I just mentioned, and you'll get a notification when we go live. And then you can chat with us. And hooray. All right. So, we'll be back soon. See you later.
Jay, your COVID makes you sound like Mitch on defense.
Yeah, I haven't fully recovered. I crash hard when I crash. So we'll be back soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody. It's over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye.